Alright class, here's a quick rundown on getting you started with the Onshape assemblies, mating parts. We might change this to evidence number 6, but regardless, here's kind of what we're going to do. So if you want to watch the video, that also kind of helps you. That's from Onshape. I'll kind of walk us through the exercise, so when you click on that, I'll go ahead and get going here. Okay, so first off, we're going to start off with a public document. So if you kind of click on this, it should open up in Onshape for you. And the first thing you'll notice here, it's up on this top, make a copy to edit. I'm going to go ahead and click on that, exercise clamp copy, and I'll write this as tutorial version. Okay, and owned by me is fine. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. And we'll go IED open. Yeah, I'll just save it in here. All right. Okay, once you make a copy of it for you to edit, now you have your own starting point here. So let's go ahead and follow the instructions. So I'm going to have this up on the other screen, so I'll be referencing it, but hopefully you have it up yourself. Alright, so first off, it says for us to do the following. We're going to go over to the assembly. I'm going to hide this here. Go over to the assembly in the bottom of the tab, so I see down here under assembly. And right now it's got nothing in it. We're also going to rename this now. Right click, rename. And we're going to call this clamp assembly. Again, good practice to always name things so you can follow along easily. Alright, from there we're going to insert parts top left corner. Again, generally speaking, start in the top left and move across. So insert current document is kind of where we're at. And we have clamp parts right there. And if I select that, I should see that all three parts kind of come in here. Just as a side note, if I open that up, I can select individual ones if I want to do it that way. That's also a great option. So right now, if you notice, if I hover over here, I can place in a certain spot. If I do not, it'll default in a certain location. I'll hit the check mark to accept. All right, so now I've got some parts in there. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is move this portion right here to the origin. Now, the triad manipulator, what you want to do is select the part, and notice that right now it kind of brings up the triad manipulator. What I want to do is click and drag this circle and move it to the middle of, you see, so right now if I hover over it, if I bring it in up close, I notice that there's a little, I don't know if you can see that here. So see that right now, it's centered to the gray bar, and I want to move that to the origin. So what I'm going to do is right click on that circle, and then the very first option here says move to the origin, and now it's over the top of the origin. When I'm there, I'm going to again right click on the part here, and I want to make sure I hit this fix button. Okay, so once I hit fix, now if I click, I can't drag this around. Like if I click and drag that gray piece, nothing moves. Meanwhile, if I click and drag these orange pieces, I can move them wherever I want. Okay, next up we're going to start doing some mates. So there's a few key ones we're going to use here. First one's called a fasten mate. That's essentially like locking pieces together. Imagine gluing them so they can't move. The other ones I believe we're going to use are, actually they'll come up as we go. So let's go ahead and start that. Okay, so the first one, again, if you aren't using a mouse, I can't emphasize enough, you really want to use a mouse to do this part. Using the trackpad here can be a total nightmare. It's so hard to rotate things like that. So without further ado, let's do the first one. So fasten mate is this one right here, or if you want to use a shortcut, the letter M. And what we want to do is the inside of this orange piece. So again, using my right click, if you change that, I'm going to zoom in. And as I hover over this, I'm going to see that there is, let me do it from here. I can see that this middle of that face, again, notice it's the middle of the inside here. I'm going to attach that to the middle of the top. Right, and once I click those two things, they'll automatically lock to each other. Once that looks good, then I'll hit the check mark. Okay, similarly, we're going to do the same for the bottom part, but the difference here is we want that to be a slider mate. All right, so we want this piece to be able to slide around. So I'm going to come over here to slider mate. For this one, I'm going to choose the bottom face. All right, and the tricky part here is if notice the middle here, it disappears if I try to find it. So what you want to do is hover over this face, hold down Shift on your keyboard. When I hold down Shift, notice it locks everything here, and then I can select the middle of that face. And then I'm gonna come down this way. If you want to pan, by the way, if you're using the mouse, hold down the scroll wheel, and then you can pan. And I'm gonna select this middle face there. Now those are locked together. The other thing we're gonna add are some limits. This makes sure that it doesn't slide past 0. And then we don't want it to slide any more than 7.5 inches. Right? Hit Enter, hit the check mark, and now if I want to test this out, what I can do is click and drag this orange piece, and I'll notice that this one should be able to slide now. Oh, looks like I have it sliding the wrong direction. Okay, so if you notice here, I'm sliding this way. I want it to slide the other way. So to edit that, I'm going to go back to my slider mate, and most likely this is just a directional thing. Flip the prime. Oh, hold on, let me try. Reorient the second axis. Nope, that should be good too. Alright, so what I do notice is that my z-axis is this way. So you know what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to say, let me see if I can put a negative value in here. See if that'll accept that. Okay, let's do it this way. Negative 7.5 is the minimum. And then this will be max of 0. Okay, yeah, I think that's a better way to do it. So let's try now. Hit the check mark. There it is. All right, so now I can only slide this way, and it can't slide past. Perfect. Okay, next up, I'm going to insert the handle parts. So I'll come back over here to Insert, Handle Parts. Click on that. Notice it just brings it in. If you want, you can place it somewhere else. So I'm going to do that. Hit the check dialog. Okay, first thing we're going to do is we're going to fasten this kind of dark orange piece to the blue piece. And to do that, I'm going to come over here to Fasten Mate, rotate this around. And again, I want the middle of the inside here to lock to the bottom there. So those guys are now locked together. Hit the check mark. Okay, and then the other one is a ball joint. Okay, so we want that ball joint to kind of connect. So first off, I'm going to pull off this light blue piece so I can see the two pieces I want to connect. And what I want to pay attention to here is, again, this is going to be ball joint, so I'm going to select that. Oops, let me get rid of that. Ball joints right there. Okay, and I'm going to pay attention to the orientation here. So again, I want to click here. Notice it's that piece sticking up that way, and then when I come over to the other piece, which is this guy, I want it to be the piece part sticking up there. Okay, hit the check mark, and again I can kind of test that out. Actually, let me lock this to the other piece first. So we'll leave that for now. Hit next, and this is going to slide into this piece right here. This is going to be a threaded shaft, so this is a cylindrical mate. So cylindrical mate means that it's going to be able to rotate as well as slide, and that's this guy right here. So the two mate connectors, first off, we will choose the bottom of this. That one's relatively easy to find. And the other one is, this one's a little bit trickier. So I'm going to zoom in here. I want to make sure I select this face of the darker blue piece. Okay, and notice that when I do that, it'll bring that over. Okay, and I'm going to double check that looks right. The other thing it wants me to add are some limits. So we want it to be -3 here, maximum of 0. Alright, and if I want to kind of see what that does, I hit that solve button. It kind of locks everything there. And then I can even animate the degrees of freedom, so it should rotate. Oh, looks like The wrong things are rotating. But let's take a look here, because I think since the other piece is fixed, it should do it for us here. So let's see. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we see that this slides. Meanwhile, this guy ball joint can rotate around. This guy can also slide and rotate as needed. Okay. Looks about right. Finally, we're gonna, after we dragged and tested and see if it moves, everything's all over the place. So we want to reset. So what I'm going to do is reset the slider first. Right click on this slider and the mate features, reset. I might also reset the ball joint, right click, reset. And let's reset the cylindrical as well. All right. After that's all set, we're going to double check that our center of mass is correct. So now I'm going to highlight all those. You can click on them in the instances over here too. I'm going to move my face for a second, and then click on mass properties, move that over, and what we're checking here is center of mass, so I can see my X, Y, and Z values shown there. Those should match. Once you've got that, take your screenshot. Remember, include your name with the mass properties shown there, and you should be ready to go. All right, thanks everyone.